Sean Sewell here, Engearment.com. My dogs Chloe and Riley chowing on dinner. This is the 3-month long-term review on the Dometic CFX3 55IM cooler behind me and the PB40 battery. So Dometic sent these over a little over 3 months ago. I've been using them every day since. So this is a pretty in detail review of how I've used them with the solar panel on top, and I'll show you this. I'll show you all this in great detail, so don't worry, I'm not going to just talk to you from the trunk of my 4Runner. I will show you how the battery works, how the cooler works, and give you some ideas how you can use this for your setups. And also I picked the brains of all my friends who have van life or overlanding or RV setups and their experiences with Dometic appliances. It's really good feedback. My friend Damien has a cooler just like this. He's had it for a few years. He swears by it. He's from the Caribbean. He's used it down there. He's used it camping in his Westphalia with his wife and daughter and dogs. My friend Mas Ya, who has an RV setup, he's been using Dometic mobile appliances for years in his RV. My friend Jeff, friends of Birthday Pass, has a Dometic refrigerator, another appliance. He swears by them as well. So a lot of testimony from people I trust that have long-term use with Dometic. So this is my experience with Dometic, how I used it, the pluses, and one potential negative that I'll talk about a little bit later, and how I worked around it. So let's talk about this. So the PB40 battery right here is being powered 100% by a solar panel. I have a 100 watt solar panel on top, and I'll show you here in a second. Cables coming through into the battery, and then the battery provides DC power to the cooler. So let me walk you through the setup real quick. Let's go up top. All right, so see the cables right there, and there is a solar panel right there. Boy, oh boy, did I do a bad job gluing it, but it's on there. I used marine sealant, and I did it all in a blizzard. So let's stay and put. Those cables come down here into the battery. Battery is 100% charged. You can see there's an arrow going in, meaning I have solar power or AC power coming in. Power going out to the cooler. So this is my typical, I'm usually at 100% because I'm getting solar panel power to the cooler. At nighttime, after a full night of using this at 37 degrees right here, this is maybe around 70% give or take. So with that in mind, I could use this pretty much non-stop, this cooler right here and this battery. If I were to use the battery only, the lowest I gotten it down to is about 10%, and that was of 2 days of non-stop use with this CFX3 55IM cooler. So outputs, 12 volt DC output, 12 volt DC pin, I've never used that before, and then you have some USB outputs to charge up, devices. Inputs, this is where it gets creative. DC input, which I have currently from the solar. You can also do it from a cigarette port as well. And then an AC adapter, should you be able to get power from, say, a hotel room or your home, and just charge this baby up. The battery is amazing. This is the cool part. It's got a solar controller in here, or power controller. So I literally have these cables coming in directly into here, no controller whatsoever, and the battery is smart enough to know how to regulate the temperature, the voltage and amperage and all that stuff to keep this battery tip top. The only downside is at nighttime, an alarm will go off, a beep, 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 because the solar panel is not providing power. So it's just an alarm telling you, hey, there's no power coming in, fix it. So I simply unplug it, the alarm goes off. Potential negative is an alarm will go off when it gets below freezing, give or take 32 to 40 degrees. Now, as you can tell, a lot of the camping we do is in snow, especially in the wintertime. So that was an issue. What I did to resolve it was, one, I unplugged the solar panel at night because it wasn't doing any good anyways, and I unplugged the power, and I used the cooler outside or left it in the truck. My logic is, if it's below 40 or so, then I keep the temperature at 37 on the cooler. The ambient temperature of the world would keep the cooler as cool as 37 or colder. Now, I've used this as low as -9. Of course, the battery did not work at -9. Cooler, I mean, it retained its coldness, so that worked, but also kept my beer from exploding, which was very important because, when you're camping, real cold winter camping, you don't want beer to explode, which is also why I carry vodka. It doesn't usually freeze. The cooler, oh, this cooler is awesome. So it's called IM, CFX55IM. IM stands for ice maker. Yeah, this makes ice. All right, let's go into it. So it has LED lights, plenty of cooler space, and in here is one-man camera show here. Little ice makers. Yeah. So I have my water right here. Just topped off those ice makers and it makes ice. That's a setting you can put on the app. And I'll show you how that app works here in one moment. All right. So you saw the cooler, the battery, and how it looks on the inside. Very good insulation. You know, it's awesome. Like I said, I've used it in crazy cold temperatures, probably temperatures you would not use it in. I think the high range is 115, low range is 40 according to manual. I've pushed it down to 34. What I did is I simply put it in a cooler, basically. So I put the battery in a cooler to insulate it. And that helped me get another 6 degrees of cold out of it. But again, in those temperature ranges, that's the temperature I keep the cooler at, and I'll show you that here in a second. So that's my logic, and tell me if I'm wrong with that, or if you have a way around it, let me know. So there is an app. Yeah, really, there's an app right there. So you can set the temperature right there. You can, and it syncs up automatically. You don't have to keep Bluetooth connecting. Right there, ice maker. You can set temperatures to Celsius or Fahrenheit, and you can turn on the ice maker function right there. That's nuts. Battery protection I have on low right now because I have a really great battery. So yeah, the app is great. So you know what temperature it is, which is cool because if you have, say, baby formula or medication, diabetic medication especially, that you need to keep at a certain temperature or below, it's nice to know that the cooler is at that temperature. And here's the amazing part with having a system like this. You don't need to buy ice ever again. You can make your own ice with this cooler. Not all the coolers in a lineup do that. And that's pretty cool. It's more of a novelty to me. I don't really need ice for anything. Maybe some scotch here or there. But more importantly to me, I don't have to buy ice ever again. I can provide free power now. I made an investment of $200 to get that solar panel I showed you a few minutes ago. Comes in here, provides all the power I need. Actually surplus the power. I might actually put an inverter in line to power up something else because I've got enough, I'm power rich with that solar panel. So more power than I need for the battery, and that's enough power, more than power to power that. I could charge cell phone and this, no problem, or a tablet, whatever I want to charge. Something to think about. PB40, roughly 40 hours of use. And I found that to be pretty accurate. So you could charge this at home. You don't have to have a solar panel. You could charge it at home with the AC adapter, and then you could take this wherever you want for 40 hours. That's a long, long weekend. You know, that's a Friday night, Saturday night, going to Sunday morning situation. So again, you don't have to have the solar panel. You can just charge it up at home. And my dogs even love this cooler because it keeps their water nice and cold. They're dancing for joy for this cooler. And yeah, the battery is very durable. Lithium ion polymer, I believe. It's a fancy battery. It's about 800 bucks, give or take. It's a big investment, and then you cannot put more than one in a row. So that is a potential con if you're trying to get a lot of power. If you have a serious van setup or overland setup, and you need more power for more appliances, you might want to do more research. That this probably won't be enough power for you. But if you have a setup like mine where a cooler, potentially a laptop, some cameras like I'm using right now, charges batteries, this could be a really good solution for you. And it's been a fantastic battery. I've used it every day for 3 months. Like I said, at crazy temperatures, it does turn off when it gets below freezing, and the alarm goes off, which is kind of irritating. I don't know how to turn that alarm off. My only workaround is to unplug it from the solar, as well as unplug it from giving power. And that turns the battery off, of course. And then, like I said, I rely on the ambient temperature of Earth, the world, to keep the cooler cold enough. The cooler is $1,200, give or take. There are other sizes, I think a 35, 45, 55, 75, 95, and the lineup prices accordingly. And the cooler has been great. I've actually used it with a different brand's battery, and I pushed it below the freezing temperature, and it ran great off that. So you could use other power sources, again, AC power. If you have an inverter or a power generator, you can plug it into the AC, that's right. And if not, DC power, again, from a cigarette lighter or from a solar panel. You'll probably be doing a solar panel if you're doing a serious setup like this. And the solar panel I have up top is, doesn't matter, Renogy is a brand, like 200 bucks. You can use other solar panels. You can use a mobile solar panel if you wanted to. Like I said, I didn't do a very good job installing that solar panel, but I did it in a blizzard. So I did pretty good for doing it in a blizzard. This setup, $800, $1,200, $2,000, $22 including the solar panel, and then you never need to buy ice again, and I have free power every day of the year. And I've been using it, like I said, in the middle of winter, and now it is the beginning of summer, which doesn't look like it's summer here, but it is almost June here in Colorado. Yes, it does snow in June in Colorado. That's why I love it. So again, like I mentioned, Dometic, fantastic products. My friends and my colleagues, Damien, Jeff, Modest, Chris Hennessy, raving reviews on Dometic. The setup has not caused any issues. I can control it from my phone or from a tablet. You know what temperature it is. You can regulate that temperature. You can make freaking ice, like I showed you. And you don't ever have to buy ice. So you don't have to find a convenience store. You don't have to lose space. That's another thing to think about. There's 55 liters of space, and that 55 liters of space is usable because you're not stuffing it half with ice. Another really big takeaway, huge takeaway. With this setup, you don't have soggy food. Now, every cooler you probably used, when you have ice, what does ice do? It melts. You got your burrito from the night before you didn't finish and you want to eat it, or you want to eat your sandwich and you have it in tin foil or even in a Ziploc bag, and you go to get it out of the cooler and it's soggy. It's a soggy, nasty burrito and you're like, oh, I don't even want to eat this, but I'm so hungry I'm going to eat it anyways. Not an issue anymore because there's no ice to melt. Think about that for a second. Saves on resources, not buying ice and wasting money on ice and polluting the earth with plastic bags. Instead, you got free power from a solar panel. Sun's out, you know, every day, thank goodness. And if not that, you can find power somewhere, plug in, charge up the battery, and you have 40 hours of use, give or take, for the cooler just like this. I'm really impressed, really, really impressed. So Dometic, thank you for sending this over. Hopefully you guys out there found this helpful. My honest feedback, like I said, the only catch is the alarms that go off when the panel's not plugged in. Duh, unplug the panel, or the power's not coming in, it's letting you know there's no power, so it's kind of nice to have that alarm. The one I don't like is the cold temperature because 70% of the time I camp, it's below freezing. Even in the summertime, it gets below freezing here in Colorado. So again, to work around that, I simply unplug the battery's power going out and power coming in, and then rely on the ambient temperature of the earth to cool it. And if I had one suggestion, not that anybody's asking me, is if you could add a locking ability on this cooler, like, you know, a little latch right here that you could lock, that would be amazing. Not only for the four-legged animals, but the two-legged animals is what I'm more concerned about. You know what I mean? So, just some honest feedback right there. So this is Sean Sewell with Engearment.com. Hope you found this overview of the features of the PB40 and the CFX 55IM cooler and how I've used it. Maybe you find some inspiration to go out and buy a solar panel and get this set up for yourself and your family. Who knows? If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them below. You can leave a comment or you can send me an email, Sean@Engearment.com. Till next time, take care.